Welcome to Cross Chat. We are going to be discussing the latest blog, which is Treasure Your Cash, Cash is King. Rahu and Riza will be asking questions of myself and Steve. Riza, you want to go first with your question?
Yes. So this question is for Steve. So Steve, in your opinion, what is the best alternative funding to get through the critical 3 months of the business?
Ultimately, your cash flow, building cash flow, comes from revenue, and if cash is king, then building your customer base and collecting money and generating revenue is the strongest way to do that, and that is very critical. And as you build your business, making sure you get paid for the work you do is the fastest way to build your cash reserves. On the other side of that is the need to control your costs, as well as any kind of payment you can defer. Just be aware of that. So to build your cash reserves is to generate revenue and to minimize your expenses, as well as the collection and payment thereof timing. So it's a puzzle that you have to put together of generating revenue, managing your costs, and the timing of the revenues coming in before you have to pay the costs. That's many times easier said than done, but that is how you'll ultimately build your cash reserves.
Well, to just pony back on that, I'd like to say that right now, banks want to lend money. If you have maintained a good relationship with your bank, go ahead and ask them for an extension of an increase of your credit limit. B, if you have credit cards with these banks, see if you can get those limits raised. The more you use somebody else's money and you hold on to just what Steve has said, the better you'll be in terms of being able to have stability. Yes, these are difficult times, and it's not the first thing you think of is go ask the bank for more money. But the statement that says, if you don't ask, you can't get a yes. Rahu, what is your question?
Yeah, Brenda. So I have a question that states, what is your advice for startups? And what are the 2 things you want to avoid to maintain a good cash management?
My advice for startups is focus on getting that first customer. Make sure that what you are offering, there is an interest in the market. You can save yourself a lot of pain and a lot of aggravation if you figure out, is there somebody out there who wants what I am selling? It doesn't matter if that is a personal friend, a colleague, someone that you have met along the way. Just get one person to say, yes, I want what you're selling. And that will create instant credibility in ways you have never imagined. But focus on that first customer. Riza, do you have a question?
Yes, I have a question. So this question is for you, Vijay. Again, what is your advice to those thinking of starting a business but doesn't have enough knowledge about cash management?
Steve wants to take this one.
The cash management can be very complex, but in a starting up, you can just the basic tools. First of all, the best thing you can do is create a cash flow spreadsheet or even just on a piece of paper, laying out that not only how much money you plan to have to spend, but when it has to be paid. On the same way, on the revenue income side, what your anticipated cash inflows are. It's the key element here is time. You can say, well, I'm going to be collecting $1,000 and I only have to pay out $800. But if you have to pay out the $800 before the 1,000 comes in, it'd be in a cash flow bind. So the time is really one of the critical elements in cash management of when it's coming in and when it has to go out. That would be as sophisticated or as basic as you need from a cash flow management standpoint. Brenda hit on the ability of using credit, such as credit cards or even a bank loan or other type of loans. But the key element of cash flow is time, and being aware of that is critical. And just looking out into the near future in terms of the next 30, 60 days, when you expect the money to come in and when the money has to go out, not just how much has to come in and out, but when. So that would be my advice, is to build some type of cash flow plan.
There are other issues that are covered in our blog, but we want to make sure that we hit upon the key elements of what we're trying to provide in terms of your cash management and helping you be able to get through your first 3 months or the next 3 months. Thank you so much for your time and listening.